Another company reporting results today was Oceana. Now, the fishing group saw a 7% increase in both its full-year headline earnings per share and dividend. Joining us now as we look at the numbers is Company Chief Executive Francois Kattel. Francois, overall we mentioned their positive numbers, a nice 7% increase. Overall, how's the last year been for you, operations-wise?
Yeah, I suppose the last year has shown the benefits of our diversified strategy. We've had points of true excellence and we've had some tough headwinds in other areas of our business. So all in all, it's added up to what I think is a reasonable result. But as I say, it's a mixed bag. If you look at our trawling business, our horse mackerel hake business has done particularly well. We've faced some headwinds in the canned fish business, and we've had a particularly tough time in our industrial fish business.
Francois, you're vulnerable always to the conditions off the coast and the allocations and catches and so on. There have been a lot of issues with access for empowerment companies to fishing allocations. That's one issue. Another is preserving the catch so that they're not overfished. Where are we with that? And I often think, we're a maritime country, but we don't think of ourselves as one. We've got to look after those sea resources.
Yeah, there's two things going on here. One is the sustainability of the resource, and then it's also transformation of the access rights. On the sustainability of the resource, by and large, we do very well as a country. For the vast majority of our resources, there are quite significant barriers to entry, and the management regime is fairly robust around them. And so hake and pelagics are doing very well from a sustainability point of view. The resources that have low barriers to entry, so abalone and increasingly west coast rock lobster, which it's easier for poachers to operate in that sphere, have come under pressure, and it certainly is a challenge for government to ensure compliance in those areas. With respect to transformation, obviously it's an ongoing process of transforming the players within the fishing industry and the rights process. I think we as a company are doing our part in transforming quite significantly. We were the second most transformed company on the JSE for the last year, which is pleasing, and certainly that's as a result of a lot of effort by a lot of people within our organization.
Francois, you mentioned in your statement about your inventory being up quite substantially, at least in the canned fish area. I suppose that's okay. It's not perishable, it's canned, it can wait. But I suppose it also reflects on how if you make the wrong call, you can get a lot of stock that has to be got rid of down the line.
Yeah. So for the last 4 or 5 years, we've been trying to satisfy the demand just here in South Africa for canned fish. And so we've increasingly purchased and procured product from overseas. And we have been unsure of where the top end of the South African canned pilchard market has been. And so it's been quite difficult to target a supply chain number. We think that we've got to the top end of the market. We still think there's possible upside, but not the growth rates that we've enjoyed in the last 3 to 4 years. And so, yes, we have overshot the mark when it comes to canned fish inventory. It does have a 2.5-year shelf life, and certainly during the course of the coming year, we believe that we'll bring that inventory back into what is an efficient level.
Francois, earlier this year you acquired Food Corp's division for at least 400 million odd rand there. Has that contributed positively to your overall results?
Now, let me correct that. We contracted to acquire it. It was subject to certain regulatory issues. The first regulatory issue was the approval by the Minister of DAF, which we have achieved. The second issue is the permission from the Competitions Board. They granted that permission earlier this month, subject to 2 conditions. We expected the first condition, which is that we would not be able to acquire the Glenrick brand. Obviously, we have a very strong Lucky Star brand, and that would create too much of a concentration in the market. And we accepted that going into this deal. The second condition, which is that the pelagic quotas of the Food Corp fishing division must go with the brand, is something that we disagree with. And we intend to work with the Commission and the Tribunal to see whether we can sort that out.